Coming up on Mountain News at 6, one Southern Kentucky pastor is trying to get out of Israel after the attacks that happened there this past weekend. Plus, one southeastern Kentucky school system is working to stop vaping.
Plus, we stay chilly to kick off the work week, tracking more 30s as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A Southern Kentucky pastor is trying to get out of Israel. Alan Dotson lives in Somerset but travels to Israel with a company that offers Holy Land tours. He says he's in a safe place between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and has been keeping family and friends updated on social media.
Psalm 122 verse 6 says, "Pray for the peace of Jerusalem." And I trust that my family and friends back home in the U.S. are doing just that right now. But just pray for us. Again, we're in a good place, and just hope our flights work out so that we can get back home soon.
Dotson told me today that a flight he had this morning was canceled, and he's trying again tomorrow. He says 2 other Kentuckians were with him, but they were able to get a flight out. Now, Dotson wants to stress that he is fine and does not feel threatened. We will have much more on the war in Israel, of course, coming up at 6:30 on the CBS Evening News. Closer to home, 3 people are facing charges after a traffic stop in Corbin. Yesterday, Corbin police conducted the stop on US 25E. After a search of the vehicle, officers found suspected meth and other narcotic pills. 54-year-old Jeffrey McDaniel of London was taken into custody, as well as 32-year-old Ricky Neely of London and 39-year-old Ashley Cole of Corbin. All 3 were taken to the Knox County Detention Center. Officers with the London Police Department reportedly took an Indiana man into custody who they say was slumped over the wheel. 62-year-old Van Carey Vinson of Indianapolis was charged with DUI on Saturday. Officers received a complaint about a drunk driver waiting to pull onto Kentucky 192. Officers conducted a welfare check on Vinson when he was pulled over on the shoulder, and they say they could smell alcohol from the vehicle. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Knox County man is behind bars after law enforcement agencies arrested him on a Georgia fugitive warrant. Ricky Gray was taken into custody last Friday by the Knox County Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Marshals Service. Gray was wanted in Augusta, Georgia on 6 counts of child pornography charges. Gray was taken to the Knox County Detention Center and is awaiting extradition back to Georgia. One person was sent to the hospital following a crash in Knox County. East Knox Volunteer Fire Department responded to that crash last night. They say a car went off the road along Walker Road off Kentucky 223. One person was flown to UK hospital. Their condition is not known. New data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration finds Kentucky has the 3rd lowest rate of deadly speed-related crashes. The latest report claims Kentucky had more than 730 deadly collisions in 2021. Speed was a factor in 41 of them. The administration found that rate is nearly 68% below the national average. Police say that number is still too high, though.
That's 41 people that lost their life for speeding. I'd like to see that number at 0.
The NHTSA report says Hawaii comes in at number 2 and Idaho at number 1 with the lowest proportion of deadly crashes involving speed. Election Day is less than a month away in Kentucky. A closely watched governor's race is on the ballot, along with other statewide seats and some local races across the state, too. Early voting starts 3 weeks from Thursday. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to several county clerks about the process to prepare for the election.
Election machines are being prepped and checked over carefully ahead of the November election in Laurel County.
They have to check all the codes, all the numbers, serial numbers of the machines, the seal numbers that we place on the machines. Every machine has to have a seal.
Every Kentucky county has early voting the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before Election Day. Laurel County will have it at the Courthouse Annex. Laurel and Boyle are among the counties that utilize multiple voting centers for Election Day.
you can go to any location in the county and cast your vote. It doesn't have to be precinct related like it's been in so many years.
Traditionally, the presidential race, which is next year, will draw the biggest voter turnouts of any election cycle. Traditionally, gubernatorial races result in lower voter turnouts, but county clerks say they hope that will change for this year.
If I had to guess maybe what the turnout would be, maybe 35 to 40%.
Many people do like to wait and vote on the traditional election day, but the early voting does allow for more flexibility and possibly shorter lines to vote. Voting has changed a lot in recent years.
It's amazing how much work it takes inside an office to get ready for an election, especially since they've added, early voting, absentee voting, vote centers.
Tuesday at 4 o'clock is also the deadline to register to vote in Kentucky. Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
All Kentuckians can vote for a lieutenant governor and the statewide constitutional offices, but some counties will have a few local races as well.
Well, the weather not too bad as we go into your Monday evening. Here's a live look from the WYMT studio, and after some ugly weather earlier today, we are starting to clear out and dry out as well across the region, and that temperature here in Hazard up to 55 degrees. Now, like I said earlier today, widespread showers across the mountains, also some cloud cover as well, but notice we are drying out and clearing out as we go into this evening, and those temperatures not too bad either, in the upper 50s and lower 60s. The cool spot, Grundy, down to 51 degrees, up to 58 for Jackson, 62 in Irvin, 63 over in Somerset at this hour. So we are warmer back to the west, but the big story as we go into tonight, some chilly air is on the way once again. Those lows back in the upper 30s and lower 40s as you wake up and kick off your Tuesday. So possibly a few areas of patchy frost in those cooler pockets as you wake up and kick off your day, but some nice weather on the way on Tuesday. And really this forecast this week has a little bit of everything. Some sunshine, some warmer temperatures, some rainfall, and Steve, even a partial solar eclipse. All those details coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Cameron. Well, one school system has installed e-cigarette detectors in hopes of stopping student vaping. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked to the school administration police chief about how vaping has become a tough issue to tackle.
E-cigarettes are becoming harder and harder to find for school administrators.
Now we're seeing vapes in many everyday items, whether it be the strings in a child's hoodie, or vapes that look like a highlighter, or makeup, or a watch, or ink pen. I mean, they're disguised in so many different ways.
There are tactics Harlan County Schools has implemented trying to crack down on vapes in classes.
We have vape detectors that are installed in all of our school bathrooms at the high school, many of our bathrooms in the elementary schools. Our staff are vigilant in observing these students.
Administrators take them away at first sight when found, and students can be subject to disciplinary action, but they are also working to educate students about how dangerous they can be.
All of our students have had vaping discussions in their classes. We had a big assembly for all of our high school students, all of our middle school students last week to talk about the dangers of vaping.
Cope says he feels they are battling against marketing tactics enticing kids to start vaping.
They're marketing these things to kids, on the narrative that it's a safe alternative to cigarettes, and there's all these flavors that they're able to get in on.
Finding ways to make schools a healthier space. In Harlan County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Matt Cope also says police agencies fear vapes could be laced with fentanyl as cases involving the powerful drug have increased. A blood drive in the Millard community is pumping love out in honor of 2 area boys and the battle too many kids fight. Millard School hosted the blood drive to honor Declan McCoy, who died this summer after a battle with cancer, and Cooper Coleman, who's been on his own cancer journey for several years now. Those involved say rolling up their sleeves is the least they can do for the kids who fight so hard.
We in our area feel very dedicated to giving back. At Millard School, we want to express to our students that being good citizens, not just good learners and good citizens, good people is very important. So giving back to our community and giving blood is a simple way to do that.
The drive brought in more than 25 donors, each with the ability to save up to 3 lives. Hear more about the impact and the inspiration behind the drive coming up tonight at 11. Organizations in Somerset are looking to expand its services to help homeless people there. WYMT's RJ Johnson spoke with one leader about why this is important.
Homelessness is something Jessica Luster saw as a problem in Somerset and Pulaski County.
They're all up and down the woods on 27, and I saw that it didn't seem like we had sufficient housing resources for our neighbors in desperate need, and that the need is growing.
Which is why she started Help the Homeless in December 2022. She says they are gearing up with other organizations to prepare for the winter months as they expect to see an increase in the needs of their services.
And to try to figure out how to help our neighbors, whether that be transporting to homeless shelters or providing warming centers here throughout the county. We would love to have the city and the county officials to work with us and maybe help us direct us to funding or even supply things like food, blankets, things of that nature. That would be wonderful.
Luster says she would like to see city leaders join in on the action, even if it's something small.
If the city or the county would love to be a part of this, even if they could help us with some small, funding of some things, that would be wonderful.
She says a small amount of community support can also go a long way.
If you don't have a lot of money and you wanted to help an initiative like ours, $10 would buy a few cartons of eggs, and we could feed people, those eggs and stretch out those funds. We see success here, and I'd love for the community to get involved and see those successes and see the change that's being made.
In Somerset, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Luster says they are looking to increase the amount of warming centers that will be available throughout the city. You can also donate to them directly or other organizations. For more information, visit our website at WYMT.com.